Welcome, boys and girls, to the continuation of our study in light for Science Unit 6, Lesson 4. In our previous lessons, boys and girls, you probably remembered that we learned that light can travel in a straight line. We also learned that light can be blocked. We discovered different types of materials in relationship to light and how it travels through it. We discussed transparent, translucent, and opaque materials. Take a look at the pictures I have on the screen and see if you can define what it means if the object is transparent, translucent, or opaque. That's right! Very good. Boys and girls, transparent materials let all of the light through. And as you can see in these pictures, these are objects that let all of the light through. You can see a window, a pair of glasses, a magnifying glass. Many of these objects, or all of these objects, let all of the light through. Even the container that may contain water or air. Those items are transparent. Now if you look at the center, you can see that there are translucent items. That means that some of the light can go through those items. A piece of paper. Some light may go through items in the air which may contain water molecules in the air. You can see that the blind in a window lets some of the light through. The last section you can see is our opaque items, and those items block all of the light. None of the light, when shined on it, can get through. Some of those items may be an ice cream cone, a puppy, pennies, quarters, watermelon, and even you are opaque. Today, you're going to learn about shadows. Shadows are the dark areas that form behind objects when the objects block the light. Shadows can be big, they can be small. Shadows can be long or short. Shadows can be funny or scary. Shadows are everywhere. Take a look at these pictures on the screen, boys and girls. Do you know what the source of light is for the shadow? Yes, that's right. The source of light in these photos would be the sun. The sun is shining brightly, causing a shadow. The boy and the object that he's holding, the paint can, are actually blocking the sun's rays to create a shadow. When you see a shadow on a sunny day, you see the outline of an object that's blocking the sunlight. If the shadow is shaped like you, that object is probably your body. An opaque object will cast or make a shadow. To make a shadow, all you need is a light source, an object, and a surface for the shadow to fall on. On a sunny day, the sun is the light source. You are the object, and the ground is the surface the shadow falls on. Now, what about objects that aren't opaque? If you look at the light coming through the window panes, you will notice that the crossbars in the window make shadows, but the window itself and the glass does not. The window glass does not cast a shadow because it is transparent. Why don't transparent objects cast shadows? Do you remember what it means if the material or object is transparent? That's right. It means that all of the light goes through. A translucent object makes a pale shadow. This is because translucent objects block only part of the light. The thin leaves of a plant cast shadows that are pale or even green. Shadows can grow larger or smaller when the object moves closer or further away from the light source. Moving an object closer to a light source makes the object's shadow grow bigger. When you make hand shadows on the wall, pulling your hands away from the light source shrinks the shadow, and pushing your hand towards the light source makes the shadow get larger. Take a look at this boy. You can see the light source is a flashlight. The flashlight that is further away from the boy is smaller. The shadow is smaller. The flashlight that is closer to the boy makes a much larger shadow. Today, boys and girls, you are going to watch an experiment. Some of you in my class may have seen this experiment before, and I have also shared the link. However, it's worth watching again. This experiment is going to determine whether opaque, translucent, and transparent materials make shadows. Do you remember what 3 things you need to make a shadow? That's right. First, you need a light source. Second, you need an object. And third, you need some type of surface for the shadow to land on. Let's watch this video as we watch the experiment to determine whether opaque, translucent, and transparent materials can make shadows.
Hello, and welcome to another ADLC digital lesson. Today, our lesson is on transparent, translucent, and opaque. Today we're going to experiment with opaque, translucent, and transparent materials. Now, just as a review, an opaque material does not let any light rays through. A translucent material lets some light rays through, and it may scatter them so it can be hard to see what the object is behind the translucent material. And a transparent material lets all the light through. So to do this experiment, what you need is some opaque, translucent, and transparent materials. So what we're going to use is a wall. We're just going to use a piece of wood for that. We're also going to use a plastic bag, some tissue paper, some cardboard, some tin foil, some glass. We're also going to use a paper bag, plastic bag, some sunglasses, some mystery items. We're also going to try some bubble wrap and some blue plastic. And to do this experiment, you need a nice bright flashlight. Now, this works best if you turn down the lights in the room, so let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, we're ready to test our items, so what I'm going to do is turn on my bright flashlight and shine it on a spot of the wall, and then I'm going to put objects in front of that light and see what happens to the light on the wall. So here's my chunk of wood to represent the wall, and when I put that in front of the light completely disappears, so no light goes through that one. Next on the list is a plastic bag. So I'll put that in front, and we can see that this one lets lots of the light through, but not all of it, and it scatters it as well. So that's the plastic bag. Next is tissue paper. Put that in front. Now this one looks like it blocks all of it, but not quite. If we move this flashlight around a bit, we can see a tiny bit of light moving on the wall. So this tissue paper blocks almost all of the light but lets a tiny bit through. Next on the list is cardboard, so we'll try that. Cardboard blocks all of the light. Next is tin foil. We'll try that. And tin foil blocks all of the light. Next up on the list is glass. So we'll take glass, put it in front, and the glass makes no change at all. So the glass lets all the light through. A couple more items on our list. We're going to try sunglasses. I'm just going to put the sunglasses in front, and, well, they let some of the light through, but they also block a lot of it. So only part of the light goes through sunglasses. Now we're going to try a paper bag. A paper bag blocks all of the light. No light goes through. We'll try a plastic bag. Well, a plastic bag lets some of the light through and it really scatters it. So most of the light is blocked, but some light goes through. We have a couple of bonus items as well. I've got some blue plastic. Put the blue plastic in front, and it blocks some of the light, scatters some, so not all of the light goes through with blue plastic. And the last thing on the list is bubble wrap. So put the bubble wrap in front, and, well, it blocks some of the light too. Scatters it as well. So those are the results for lots of different items. You now have to decide, are they opaque, translucent, or transparent?
Boys and girls, I would like you to do the same type of experiment as well, using a flashlight as your light of source. I would also like you to choose different objects and then have a surface for the shadow to be able to land or fall on, as the scientists did in this video, a wall for an example. As you shine the light on each different type of object, whether it is opaque, transparent, or translucent, determine what kind of shadow lies behind it. Now it's time to have some fun with shadows. Have you ever made a shadow puppet? I would like you to make a shadow puppet using different types of materials: opaque, translucent, and transparent. I would like you to create your own shapes to produce shadow puppets. Be sure to experiment with the size of the shadow as well. What happens when you bring the object closer to the light source? What happens to the shadow when you move the object further away from the light source? The size of the shadow changes. Experiment making shadow puppets, boys and girls, to help you further understand shadows using opaque, translucent, and transparent objects. Have fun with your shadow puppets.